After Joe's return from our first 6-month separation in 2001, the families of deployed soldiers got together at Fort... Actually, I don't even want to say what the base is. Anyway, they got together to welcome home the troops. A friend of ours, a gay service member as well, held up the phone so I could at least hear what was happening from our home in San Antonio. The ceremony lasted 2.5 hours. He couldn't even attend. All right, so this is from Joe, and he writes this 2 days ago from Afghanistan. Thank you for this. It truly touches us both. The policy, something that has given us cause to worry about for our very futures. Everything to do with our futures, benefits, retirement, salary, everything, for the 10 years we've been together, continues to make us feel like illegitimate citizens, despite our willingness to protect the very government, possibly with our lives, who legitimize this law. We feel it codifies bigotry. And I do mean we. As an Army spouse, Dan shares all the risk, but receives none of the support, not even the right of first notification in the event of my death over here. To be sure, I'm fully comfortable with you mentioning that you have a friend currently serving in Afghanistan on his 3rd deployment who tells you that things have indeed changed for the better, but as long as this law remains on the books, there is not only the fear of being caught and losing everything, but the shame of living counter to what I know are the military's core values of living an ethical and honest life. So that guy's a little more articulate than I am. So it was interesting to then go to this hearing, and I have to tell you, before the election, I mean, it's fun to make fun of Palin, but I was one of those people that, even though I voted for Obama, I always kind of respected McCain until this morning. I was so disappointed and let down by this man that I thought at least was intelligent, had obviously served the military with honor, questioning the man and woman who stood before him, who'd been dishonorably discharged, separated, whatever they call it, and accusing them of lying, exaggerating. And there's a question he kept asking them over and over. And he was so condescending in his tone, it surprised me. He kept saying to them, wasn't don't ask, don't tell a policy in place when you joined? And they both said yes. And he said, did you not understand it? And he kept saying over and over, are you telling me that as a graduate of this school or that school that you actually didn't understand it? And both of them seemed a little caught off guard. And they said, well, one guy said, actually, we didn't understand it. It was pretty vague when it was first instated. And the woman said, I understood it, but I wanted to serve so much, I knew I could serve anyway until I was kicked out. So that was a shame. Oh, and then Saxby Chambliss was there, who's super crazy. So yeah, that was really fun. So since I've never been to a hearing, I was clapping after people talk because I thought it was like a Broadway show. I thought it was like Mamma Mia, like a show. Which they should add music. It was a little boring in some parts, frankly. And so anyway, then McCain was a disappointment. Lieberman and Levin were actually pretty great. And then Chambliss started. And then he started with linking it to the Bible and how gay people aren't reflected in the Bible and stuff. So I did something inappropriate. And I apologize to all the wonderful groups here that I'm representing. And I recommend that they disassociate from me immediately. Because I sort of stood up in the front row and said, peace out, you cuckoo puff. And then I left. And that's why I tell dick jokes and I'm not a senator. But anyway, I have one more thing that I want to do. I have this photo that I want us all to take together, and I want to do the texting thing. But one thing, as I was sitting at this hearing, is I had all these questions, and you can't just raise your hand. But we have Lieutenant Dan Choi here, who is the Arab linguist who was fired. So if the lieutenant could come up, we didn't. I saw him on 60 Minutes, you've seen him, but we didn't really plan this. But honestly, I thought we could just take maybe 3 or 5 questions, because as I was at the hearing, I had questions. People on the other side were saying that being gay in the military was awkward and difficult, that the gays had ulterior motives, etc. So, Lieutenant, how do you respond to people that say that gay people wanting to be honest about who they are, basically meaning not getting fired, have an ulterior motive?
Well, first off, thank you very much, Kathy, for being here. And Joe Solmonese, where are you?
He's down there.
We are on the same team, and I want to thank you for standing up for those soldiers that are still serving right now. You're great at telling jokes, but I want to make one thing very clear. This is not a joke. Don't ask, don't tell is not a joking matter. It is the only law that enforces shame, and that's why, even when I was recalled to serve again, even with all of these statements that there are ulterior motives or it'd be awkward or difficult, I was accepted by my unit with open arms. Many people said that they're trying to censor me by bringing me back in. Well, look at me now. I am still standing. I am still fighting. I am still speaking out. I am still serving my country, and I am still gay.